Hi there, Christoph here. I want to give an update on image generation for saving Satoshi, and this might take just a little bit. Current status is that generated images for every single image that we need. This is the whole view here. You see the home screen at the top, and then each chapter is one row, and you can see there are like 3 to 6 images per chapter. It's 50 something or so. And so a lot of these here at the bottom, we actually had nothing up until this week or last week. A lot of new stuff here. And I wanted to think that now we're at this point where we have images for everything that are pretty good. But I do think at some point we need to do another big iteration for consistency and any other improvements that we want to make. So I'll just talk through it now real quick. So at the homepage we have this big, first impression. This looks like it's a bit futuristic. These young people looking into the future, trying to figure things out. So we're setting the tone here. Then we press Start Your Journey, which takes us to the chapters page. Then we scroll down to chapter 1, where we see something like this. So we see this, again, a future city with flying cars, lots of people, and clearly something happened here on this screen. I think we can replace what's on this screen and also replace the jumbled AI-generated text here. There can be something more impactful here, but basically, the Bitcoin network is down. Something's happening. And through this perspective, we put ourselves in the shoes of this main character. When we start chapter 1, now we are at home. So a little bit of a break here that we might need to make more consistent. We're at home having breakfast, and we see something happening on the news. And this interviewer, Deborah Chunk, is interviewing Vanderpool about what's going on. And he basically says that miners are protesting and they want to issue more than 21 million Bitcoin. So we don't really know yet what's going on. We're just kind of having breakfast. But then we receive this HoloCat from someone called Satoshi Nakamoto, and it starts talking to us and it tells us that we need help. So here we introduce the HoloCat character, which also is Satoshi's messenger and our companion through the whole site. Then we get into lesson content. Once we've completed our first challenge, this is about decoding messages in the blockchain. We give users a bit of a success feeling here. Then we move on the second lesson content, and then we found in the second lesson we decoded another message. We found coordinates that take us somewhere. So now we're on the way. Now the helicopter here, this is supposed to be a really crappy old solo copter. I think in reality they're called gyrocopter, these tiny single-person helicopters. So we might need to redo this one. There was also an idea of putting the tail of HoloCat or so in here. But I think overall, this kind of captures the mood well. Generally, we're on our way now, and we're wearing our headset again. So this completes chapter 1. When I click here, we go to actually here's an end screen. This takes us out of this scene and sets the stage for what's coming up next. Like our adventure is beginning here. And again, this should be a tiny little solo copter. We'll have to redo this one also for consistency. Then on the chapters page, we scroll down a little bit. We get this intro to chapter 2. And so now we're arriving, right? We're at helicopter without blades, not sure what happened there, but we're setting the stage now for chapter 2, an abandoned warehouse. We can see it's overgrown, and we are landing there, wondering what's going on. And then we break through a window. Too many people here. We should be just by ourselves, maybe with HoloCat, but it's kind of this. You can tell it's like this old building with classic architecture. No one's been there. And there's something in the middle here. These are the miners that Satoshi left for us that we're going to use to go up against Vanderpool. So now we go into the office in the warehouse. We try to get things going. There's a computer here. We're trying to get those miners working. Then we have the lesson content. And then afterwards we have the miners back up and running. I don't think this image is particularly good. I think it kind of works, but you know, these don't look like miners, just looks like server rack, but overall, you know, if you squint a lot, it works. Then the 51%, that's where it gets personal. So where chapter 3 starts, the image concept is that it's all about people, because 51% attack is like, it's just computers coming up with guessing numbers. It's not that exciting to visualize. So we're making it about people here. So you can kind of tell there's something intense is coming up here. Then for the first time, we actually show Vanderpool here. This is kind of, he's still kind of meant to be not fully visible, but just kind of a silhouette or so. And showing Vanderpool as this powerful person controlling this huge computer network, right? We want to like paint the enemy in this challenge here. And then, but Satoshi gives us contact information for some other mining pools that we can contact for help. And so now we are contacting them here. So here's our main character on the top left, sending the messages, and then these other characters all around the world. For some of them it's daytime, and you know, they're just different characters. We need their help. But until that happens, you are going up against Vanderpool ourselves, and we fail. But then at the end, we do win. So now we're just extremely happy now, showing just our character just being relaxed and happy. Then we have another lesson content, and then you know, we've basically done it. So now this becomes a bit more of a reflective scene. You know, we're still in this warehouse here, working at this computer, and we're looking out, sun's going down, feels like, you know, the situation has calmed down, the battle is over. Then afterwards we need to claim the Bitcoin that we won during the mining challenge. So now, while chapter, 3 or 4 was the previous one, 3 was about people, here we go into the digital realm, and the images are meant to convey kind of the magic of cryptography in a way. So there are no more people images here. This is like our protagonist by themselves in the middle of the night, coding and hacking away and generating addresses from the private key. So here you can kind of already get a sense for what this is. Here we show it again. So now, you know, you really see kind of the sense of like something magical's going on here on all of those screens. And we generally do a pretty intense coding exercise. And then at the end, we need some, you know, this is meant to convey that now kind of the sats, the Bitcoin, they're streaming into your wallet. This might not be the perfect image. I think generally kind of it conveys that feeling of a magic technology happening, but might need to re-render this. But I think generally the direction is good. So now for chapter 5, you know, Vanderpool is back on TV, so now we actually show him directly. We get a sense for who he is. And these images, they're basically a TV interview scene. So now we also introduce visually the character of Deborah Chunk, who appears a few more times, and she's interviewing him. So the previous screen we showed Vanderpool, now we switch to the interview partner, and then we go back to Vanderpool. We have these close-ups. We really get to see who he is now, and then it goes back into our quiet living room, back to our protagonist and HoloCat, because now it's back to us to act. So Satoshi has another message for us. Then we do some lesson content, and then, you know, I forgot what we're doing in this lesson here, but basically at the end of this, we've publicly proven now that Vanderpool is not Satoshi. So now the organization that Vanderpool runs, Bitray, is kind of exposed now. So and that's why this is an image of these Bitray headquarters. We might need to put their logo in there somewhere. But so now it's from this personal battle and duking it out. Now the world knows that Bitray and Vanderpool are shady. So that's why we're showing this image here. And then we have another shot here when we just start chapter 6. And here the thing is that a lot of people believe now that Vanderpool is a fraud, but a lot of them don't, and there's still a lot of uncertainty. So we kind of show the situation that, you know, part of the story was resolved, but there's still something going on. And so it's kind of it wasn't meant to be rainy, but just try to have kind of a gloomy street scene with a lot of people. But for some reason, Midjourney always made that rainy. Here is a scene where in the copy, our hero considers like who Satoshi might be. So this is a shot of all kinds of different silhouettes of all kinds of different people, you know, just showing you really it could be anyone. So this is kind of I don't know what you call abstract image, I guess, not depictive of a specific moment in the story. And then our friend Mike Rahman is introduced, a journalist and a good friend, and a Bitcoin fan too. Satoshi contacted him, so we need to come up with a character. I don't know, we might have a better character here, but that's kind of what I came up with for now. And then we do some lesson content. I think we're transferring Bitcoin here. And then Mike Rahman and ourselves, we make ourselves on the way to Vanderpool's private island to try to find some more information about him. So this is now, we're leaving our apartment here off into adventure. Kind of like at the end of the first chapter where we had this helicopter flying. Now, you know, we packed our bags and we're off again. So here's now, these images in this chapter are not that great. I think they kind of generally work, but we have more work to do. So this is meant to be Vanderpool's private island, and here's a helicopter just flying and landing. So you kind of get the sense that, you know, there's a new scene here, and yeah, just need more work to do here. Then we're on the ground. This image, of course, doesn't match the previous one at all. Something we need to make more consistent. But Mike Rahman and I and ourselves, we're now on the ground, and we try to scale the walls and break into this residence. So previous shot was aerial shot. Now we're actually on the ground. And the next shot here, we broke into Vanderpool's private lab, and we're just looking through this information, and we learn a lot about his background and his plans, then to make them public. Then we have some lesson content, and then, you know, finally we leaked all the information that we found about him. Now he's really truly exposed, and no one believes his stuff anymore. No one believes his company anymore, and you know, that's big victory here for us. And now this is meant to show Vanderpool kind of surrounded by reporters, and they're all questioning him, and he looks kind of uncertain and just really thrown off his yeah. Then afterwards, you know, we are celebrated. Someone found out that we did all this stuff when we leaked it, so we are invited here to the headquarters of the TV news station for an interview with Deborah Chunk. So we're making our way there. Again, setting the scene with this type of image. Here we are just super excited, telling the story of everything that happened. I think composition and generally this image works, but maybe we need to re-render it with slightly more detail or so. So we're just really excited that this is done, and you know, and we're just ready to tell the story. But then Vanderpool kind of calls in via TV screen, via video screen, and you know, he's mad, and he's just pissed off. And Vanderpool and Deborah Chung tries to, you know, calm down the situation a little bit. And she throws out a challenge to us. Basically, you know, both of you prove yourself. And then, you know, this is kind of our final test here. As Satoshi also said, in the next challenge, then we, for once and for all, using cryptography, we prove that Vanderpool is lying. Then, you know, again, we did it. We finally, there's absolutely no chance anymore that anyone can believe this stuff. Like we've dominated Vanderpool. There's nothing he can do anymore. So big success image here. But the story is not completely over. We're flying home here with our solo copter. HoloCat, we're talking to HoloCat here on the way back. What's next? Then we actually got a distress message from Vanderpool on our cool digital wristband. And they're telling us that Vanderpool is coming to our apartment. So we're trying to think of a trap. Now we do set a trap here in the next lesson. And then we are now at home at our apartment. It's kind of getting in towards the evening. We've set the trap, which means we're kind of confident, but there's also a lot of uncertainty, and this shot is meant to convey that feeling. And then as we go into chapter 10, Vanderpool is at our doorstep with a whole bunch of HoloCats, his personal ones. Then, kind of the tension's broken. He sits down, and we have a normal conversation here. So he's just here he kind of looks like a normal old man. He's not this villain anymore, but he gets a bit demystified, and he tells kind of his personal story. And then here is HoloCat on his lap, commenting on something, basically forgiving him. Now we do, Vanderpool sees this message here. We get a message from Satoshi, and Vanderpool sees this, and there's a little bit of discussion about, who this is, who they might be, and then in the end it doesn't matter because everyone's now behind Bitcoin. So that shot's meant to convey that, and then it's up to our protagonist to give some advice to Vanderpool about what to do with the ill-gotten gains, and basically distribute them back to people and open source development. So you can tell now all the tension is resolved, all the conflicts are resolved now. Everyone's pretty calm and happy. And then there's some lesson content. And then at the end of that, it's just kind of a summary. Basically, story's over. We just kind of sum things up again. The hard fork failed. You learned the facts. You did the work. You saved Satoshi's legacy. You saved Bitcoin. All of this stuff. We're kind of zooming out. The world looks back normal again. Clearly people are back and busy. Cars are driving. Everything's okay. And then for the very final shot, we just have something celebratory. The character again is a silhouette, kind of like at the beginning, but instead of being in this square where we see this chaos erupting, not sure what's happening. Now there's a big firework for whatever reason. There's a firework over the city. It's just meant to be a celebratory shot. So that's it. That's kind of those are all the images in this story. I feel like they're in pretty good shape. But as you can tell, there's probably also some consistency stuff to do, a few ones to re-render. And that's where we are. So let me know what feedback you have. Thanks.